here. Ire was much taller than Zoe. Even seated, her height was impressive, and her stony features depicted a perfect picture of a pissed-off Norse goddess. If, as a child, Zoe had been instructed to draw a pissed-off Norse goddess, she would have drawn Ire. Long golden braid, crossed arms, furrowed brow. She probably would have put wings on her, too, because Zoe as a child thought everything was made better with angel wings, even bugs, which already had wings. Also, she wouldn't have included the Yankee sweatshirt. But besides that, Ire still impressed Zoe with her palpable divine presence. Zoe fought the urge to cringe, but instead smiled at Ire and sat down at the table. Before she could speak, Ire asked, "Why have you called me back here?" Her voice boomed, echoing through the auditorium. She had great stage presence, Zoe thought, wondering if she should encourage the goddess to go into acting instead of publishing. "It's good to see you, Ire," Zoe said, ignoring the imperative question. "All right, so our first encounter was handled poorly, and the fault was entirely mine. And your crazy tempers," she didn't add. "We've had an opening in the writing team, and I've had a chance to look over your resume again, so I wanted to see if you were still interested in a job at Underground Publishing." Ire's face softened, but she just segued into a skeptical frown instead of a look of relaxed ease. "Why me?" "Because Gwen made me," Zoe didn't say. Instead, she said, "Gwen tells me you've spent some time in New Orleans, yes?" Ire eased her huge form back into the chair, relaxing at last. "Yes, a couple of decades selling music. It is a beautiful city." Zoe smiled. "That's why we need you. My team is talented, but having someone we know who knows the city is quite useful. Gwen, mentioned you still didn't have a steady job?" Ire nodded her regal head, her braid bobbing. "Employers respond poorly to my passion. They make me angry too often. Here you would be working with Coterie, and I'm sure they can handle your passion," Zoe said carefully. "What about you? Are you not a human?" "I am," she conceded, "but I think I've had enough experience now to not be surprised by the actions of one of your kind. Or, if I am surprised, I can at least keep my head. When you met me, I was new to this whole world. I've had some experience since then." She stopped, realizing she sounded as if she were interviewing for the job, not Ire. She bit her tongue inside her mouth. Ire smiled, a touch of malice on her broad face. "Oh? And where were you on December 8th? Hiding in your apartment from the scary Coterie?" Zoe's smile froze on her face. On December 8th, she had been fighting a crazy woman who was raising golems to attack the city of New York. Many had died, and the authorities had explained it away as an earthquake. Zoe had been injured in the battle and had lost friends. She didn't like talking about December 8th. "Someday we'll have a drink together, and Gwen and I can tell you what happened the night of December 8th. She looked down at the table and shuffled Ire's resume papers around, surprised at the tears that sprang to her eyes when she thought of that night and her friends Morgan and Granny Goodmay, both of whom were gone. "But no," she finished, "I didn't hide." She took a deep breath to steady herself. "Your employment has been interesting through the centuries," she said, looking at the resume. "What can you tell me about your service to, sorry, I can't pronounce it. Menglod?" Ire nodded. "Menglod, or Freya, was my mistress, and I served her as a Valkyrie, choosing who lived and who died in war. After the wars died down, she had no more need of my service, so I spent time as a mead server to heroes in Valhalla." "From Valkyrie to food service. Got it," Zoe said, making a note. She would give Ire the job. Zoe had no other choice, but she had to go through the motions. "It seems you had a spot of unemployment here, some 12 centuries of it?" "Times were tough all over," Ire said. "And you applied to med school in 1975, but left because you didn't need medical training, since you already had divine healing power at your hand. I'm trying to find your New Orleans experience. Ah, here." She found the line she wanted on the resume. "The store Mama Pete's Records in New Orleans. You were assistant manager for 10 years. Did you stay in the city long after that?" "Some. I mostly traveled around."